From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here on a Tuesday. Hope you're having a good day so far. It's about to get better because you're watching the show. We're going to open up the phone lines. You can join in the conversation, or you can just sit back and listen as we talk about car care. All right, you know, every once in a while, especially in the springtime, you start pulling out, those vehicles of yours, maybe the ones that you haven't had out during the winter months. You buff them up, or you have the car all through the winter and you're getting it ready to drive in the warm weather months of the summer. We can take your calls this morning if you have questions or comments about vehicles. And here at Channel 5, we have Steve Hayslip, who knows his cars, okay? But there's someone who knows even more about cars than Steve. I think that's fair to say, and he even would say so as well. And that is Paul Kinney, owner and operator of Precision Tune. He owns his own Precision Tune. He's a master mechanic. Good to have you on, sir.
Oh, good to be on.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. We've been doing this for a while with you, haven't we?
I know. We have.
You got your big break on Talk of the Town, didn't you? Was that the start? I mean, you were on them before us, weren't you?
Actually, what was the radio show that you and me first did?
Did we? Radio?
Yeah. It was.
But was it with me before Talk of the Town?
Yeah. I think it was like with Les Jameson. Is where I started.
That's going back a ways. I remember Les Jameson.
Yeah,
and that's how it started for you.
Yeah.
Now you still go on top every once in a while, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Still do that.
And he's been coming on this show. The number 737-7587. I always thought you would, especially you and your wife, would do a great radio show. Now, it wouldn't quite be like Click and Clack on NPR. Those brothers, and a lot of the reruns playing now.
Yeah.
They're great to listen to, but you and your wife, do you think she'd be up for it? Is she up watching right now?
She's always up for talking. And I'll tell a story that she'll tell it correctly. So what can you do there?
Good.
So yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if you have questions about cars, and Paul's helped me over the years with my vehicles, my crazy Miata, a lot of people know about. But thought I'd just ask you, and we'll get phone calls in if you have questions about your vehicles. Chance to call in and ask, and he'll give you an idea. But is there anything special that you're seeing as folks come in, just as we're getting into spring and summer, that people need? What would you suggest?
It's getting vacation time. Yeah. It's time to get the car ready for the road. Kids are getting out of school. Let's check the tires. Let's check the fluids. Get the oil change. Get ready to go to Panama City.
I was about to say, we've done that with you before.
Actually, absolutely.
Just before you take off to make a drive, that's about a 6-hour, 7-hour drive. So before you go on a long road trip, and a lot of people, probably getting ready to go Orlando for Disneyland or Disney World, or that we're going to travel across the country to the Grand Canyon. What are the basics then? You want to have tire pressure, all that main stuff. Oil.
Well, yeah, I mean, you get your oil changed regularly anyway. Yeah. But
how many how many miles between an oil change should it be? I've seen between 1,500.
It depends on the type of oil. 3,000 to 5,000 on conventional oil. You can go over 5,000 on a full synthetic. But you want to have everything checked out. A few moments in the shop may keep you from having a breakdown potentially on the road with the kids and the luggage and the cooler and the dog and everything. And it's just a little bit of insurance before you hit the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just so you don't break down. By the way, I know it's a little more expensive. Is there any advantage to getting conventional oil over synthetic? I mean, and I know synthetic will last longer, and it does cost a bit more.
Yes.
But is there any advantage for maybe certain vehicles to go with a conventional oil as opposed to synthetic?
Well, the synthetic oil is formulated, and it's a higher blend. It's a higher quality oil. You can go longer, so you've got convenience. Lots of the newer cars require a full synthetic because of the tight tolerances, because variable valve timing. They're doing all kinds of hydraulic things inside these smaller engines to get more power out of them. It requires a better oil.
Interesting.
Absolutely, as far as your warranty and everything else, you have to keep that in there.
Okay, and you need to know that if it's one of the new cars. Now, for instance, I've got my little old 94 Miata that has a gerbil in a cage that runs it. So that sucker, does it really matter what kind of oil I put in a car that old? I mean, I want quality oil, but should I do synthetic as opposed to?
Synthetic at that point, there's not going to be any benefit to. So when you come in, we use a synthetic blend.
Okay.
we always check your tires, and we rotate his bumper stickers because you don't want to leave the same ones in the same place for too long.
It's covered with bumper stickers. All right, let's see. I think that covers most of it. As far as the newer cars out there, you constantly in your business have to upgrade yourself in terms of, and the mechanics you hire, with the technology that's out there, because you've told me before, it's amazing now. Everything's computerized,
it's
as
crazy
opposed
stuff.
to some of the, and you see all kinds of cars that come in the door, right?
Right.
I mean, the big change, is it just more complex these days, or now is it where you can just plug into the computer and figure out what's wrong with the car?
Well, no, the plugging into the computer will give you an idea as far as information, voltages, what the sensors are doing.
Yeah.
You know, in the old days, you would hook up an analog gauge and watch it. Now everything is digital. Basically, you're using a laptop. You're seeing in real time what's going on with these cars. There's so much electronics.
Right.
Even for rolling the windows up and down, it all goes through body control modules. The stuff that well, I've got a guy that's super on it, Kirk, and the stuff that he goes through just boggles my mind. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Right.
And so I'm learning new stuff every day, and we constantly have to upgrade, constantly taking classes and going through this. So the things that are on the car today, we didn't even dream about 10 years ago, and I can't wait to see what the next 10 years brings.
I know. Well, I was going to say, one thing that's already coming, and I don't know if you see these cars. Do you take electric cars? If someone can't, what? Oh, with an electric, like if someone comes in with a Nissan Leaf.
Yes.
All right, which of course are made just down the road here. I don't even know. Is there oil in a Leaf? I guess electric.
They're full electric. Now the hybrids still have an engine in them.
Right.
Don't do anything on the full electric
You
cars.
don't do anything on the full electrics.
You know, the dealer really has that kind of sewed up
right now,
because the technology's so new and it's still evolving.
Yeah.
And there's so many things go wrong with them that they have to, basically, it's their quality control. They have to be checking those out right now.
Yeah, as you follow those, and I know you just know cars, you're a car buff yourself. I mean, I just wonder the future of the electronic cars, the whole idea of the batteries. I mean, do you see that being something that's going to become more mainstream with time?
The battery technology has got to come up.
Okay.
You know, number one, nobody wants to buy a $30,000 car and in 7 years have to buy a $13,000 battery, which is what some of them are running right now. You know, great technology. I mean, you know, I'd love it all to work out and
sure,
you know, save the planet. But right now it isn't practical. It isn't cost effective, in my opinion. But I love the technology that's coming out, and I think it's maybe not all electric vehicles, you know, but there is some options coming up for them to make great progress. But they've got to get the battery technology going right now.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the things you're going to see in the next 10 years, like you're just talking about. But the hybrids too, when you work on them, though, I mean, you work on the side of that.
Those have been out for years now and seem to be pretty good cars. We see them with some incredibly high mileage coming out.
Yeah, that's the thing. And part of it too is you still will address, whether it's an electric car or a gas car, there's still things like tire pressure and all of that still make a difference on mileage and everything else.
Right, yes.
All right, listen, we got calls coming in for you already. So what we'll do is we'll take a break, and when we come back, the phone lines are open for Paul. As you see, I ask a bunch of dumb questions, and he's kind enough to answer them for me. Any questions you have about your car, you know, service, things like that, see if you can stump him too.
Hey, we'll try our best.
All right, 737-7587. We'll be back with your phone calls and more with Paul Kenny with Precision Tune right after this.